beginning of our well-known pandemic, when COVID-19 just started to spread, we all went into isolation. We were scared to socialize with our friends anymore. Instead, we willingly stayed home for most of the day. We felt like we had nothing to do. This state of emotion is known as boredom. Hello, I'm Olivia Pang, and today we are going to be discussing how boredom can lead to brilliance. To prevent boredom, we will virtually do anything, whether that's switching to playing video games, responding to text messages, or engaging in some other readily available distraction when our interest in a task starts to weaken. This may not seem like a severe issue. Why waste time being bored after all? However, boredom can actually increase our ability to be creative, our ability to be productive, our goal-setting skills, and our exposure to trying new things. Therefore, although most people are seeking ways to keep their brains occupied, we may enhance our lives by doing the opposite, learning to unplug, slow down, and enjoy boredom. Many people understand the term boredom as a time when you have nothing to do. However, there's always something to do on your to-do list, whether that's writing a 5-paragraph essay, doing the dishes, or getting a better attitude. Usually, you probably have too much things to do. But the real reason why we get bored is because at that time, none of these things appeals to us. Hence, even if there is a ton of technology at our disposal and a ton of work to be done, if something doesn't immediately pique our interest, we think, ugh, there's nothing to do. We are in a state of boredom. Boredom is disliked by the vast majority of people. As a matter of fact, according to one study, boredom was described as a very unpleasant experience. There is some evidence to show that bored workers are more likely to not show up at work. On the education circumstances, bored students are more likely to give up easily or encounter lower test scores. In a 2014 study titled "The Issues of Disengaged Minds," numerous participants had to stay in a room for 15 minutes where they can't do anything except to think or to click a button. There's no compulsions to clicking this button at all, other than doing so may electrocute you. Knowing this, 67% of men and 25% of women still click the button. You may be surprised to learn what you just heard. However, we do this all the time. We won't literally go over and click a button we know will stun you, but instead we will have an insane fixation over always having something to do. Being overly busy can increase the stress. Then this may trigger other mental health issues like anxiety disorders and/or depression. Moreover, it can impact our physical health, like not getting enough sleep or not prioritizing exercise as much as we need to. So instead of filling up your schedules minute after minute, take some time to embrace the brilliance of boredom. There are many ways that boredom can affect you positively. One of these ways is that boredom can actually boost our creativity. When we're bored, our minds go to intriguing and unexpectedly useful places. Consequently, as Barbara Oakley stated in A Mind for Numbers, we start to think broadly rather than on a limited emphasis on any one activity. In other words, our brains are free to switch between ideas and concepts when we're bored, and therefore, at its best, to think laterally and solve problems with creativity. To illustrate my point, in one study, 2/3 of the participants had to read and write phone numbers from a phone book, which is definitely quite boring in my opinion. The remaining participants got to engage in an engaging art project. It seems that the board group actually came up with many more ideas for 2 styrofoam cups than the control group. Creativity may help us in daily life by perceiving and solving challenges with innovation. Other than boosting our creativity, boredom can actually boost our productivity during work too. It seems that working less might actually increase our work capacity. For example, participants in a 2018 research sorted a dish of beans by color. This group came up with many more suggestions for being 2 hours late for work than the control group, who had previously finished an art project. Therefore, boredom can actually improve our ability to concentrate. If we can tolerate boredom, we can educate our brains to get accustomed to unpleasant circumstances. So we ought to enjoy boredom. In this way, we can endure its uncomfortable sensation and stay focused for an extended amount of time. When we're bored, we have this very unpleasant sensation. This sensation is a mental warning signal that something isn't especially intriguing, exciting, or engaging. Therefore, we can get out of it as soon as possible. Boredom, in other words, might cause us to rethink what we're doing and encourage us to change our aims to something that better matches our expectations or wishes. When we're bored, our mind wandering focuses on the future and what we want out of life, which is definitely a good way of setting future goals. Bored individuals shifts their attention to future ambitions, allowing them to create meaningful long-term goals and steps on how to achieve them. Therefore, my overall belief is that without having a clear goal, we should not expect to learn anything. Allowing our minds to wander is beneficial in attaining and identifying our learning objectives. Finally, boredom is what gives us the taste for adventure. It drives us to seek novelty, an essential component that aids in the development of human beings as an intellectual and inquisitive species. For example, Charles Darwin had a wide-eyed curiosity that was actually sometimes motivated by boredom. On one occasion when he was younger, he was bored at looking for orchids and decided to look at sundew plants instead. Because these plants are carnivorous, he wanted to see what they would eat. Therefore, he conducted the fool's experiment, in which he fed the sundews his hair and toenail clippings. The sundews turned out to be very uninterested in his hair and toenail clippings, but I can't really blame them for that, because if I were in their spot, I probably wouldn't be interested either. Therefore, the sundews don't like to eat everything, but that's not the actual point I'm trying to get across. The actual point is that without boredom, Darwin would not have made this wonderful observation. Therefore, if we want to become more successful learners, we have to feel at ease exploring the adventure and novelty that boredom provides us with. As a result, we miss out on opportunities to expand our knowledge of the world if we don't allow ourselves to get bored. Next time, when you're bored, stop and think. Should I immediately switch to playing video games, or should I embrace the brilliance of boredom? Although I must admit, it really is an unpleasant sensation. It is still responsible for releasing enormous amounts of personal creativity, productivity, goal-setting skills, and novelty. We severely limit our potential to learn, uncover new life goals, and achieve wonderful things if we did not allow ourselves to get bored. Thank you.